Good day, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show. The show where I bring you champion leaders and people with, story of triumph or a particular knowledge that they want to share with you to help you to go to the next level of your greatness. It is important that you listen carefully, that you take notes, and after the show, apply whatever you've learned here. And that's really what the show is all about. It's about you learning and then applying what you've learned here on the show. So today we're going to South Africa and we're gonna have ARTHIE Moore. ARTHIE Moore is as a guest. She is a seasoned entrepreneur, the founder of Celebrating Humanity International, and she also founded Kai Leadership International. And this has been operating nationally, internationally for over 24 years. So lots of experience today to learn from. She is also an international keynote speaker, a leadership coach, diversity and inclusion specialist, and she has her own weekly live radio show in the US with IBGR Network. So I'm not going to tell you more. I'll give her the opportunity to introduce herself when she's here. But as usual, I ask you to have your pen and paper ready, and also let us know where you're watching from. And for those who are going to get the replay, please don't hesitate to connect with her later on. But for the time being, I'm going to bring ARTHIE now, and we're going to have an important conversation today about leadership. And she has, like I said, a lot of experience, and we're going to have, lots of nuggets today. So get ready. I'm bringing her now, and we're going to have this amazing conversation with ARTHIE.
But as I got older, I started to be more aware of some of the abusive sides of
So welcome, ARTHIE, to the Greatness Engineering Hour show. Such a pleasure to have you, and I'm so excited to be able to have a great conversation with you today because it's, like I said, you have so much experience and the expertise that you have is just amazing. But before I get too excited, I'm just going to ask you to introduce yourself and let us know who you are and what you do and anything you feel like it's important for to know, and we'll get it from there.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you so much. An absolute privilege to be on your show. I loved the beginning of your introduction. Wow, greatness, and we're here for your success, and we're all about helping you to find you, the best you, embracing the warrior within you. I loved all of those words because it so resonates with some of my life's journey. It resonates with where I'm heading, with my purpose and my vision. And that is the simplicity of it is I'm just me.
Mm-hmm.
I've just
Mm-hmm.
embraced a journey of entrepreneurship, and it's taken me in so many different exciting directions in life. But the basis of it was to create compassionate leaders of influence. And the only reason I got to that conclusion in my life is by seeing the injustices in this world, by seeing where people were hurting in every aspect, whether it was in family life, whether it was in social environments or business or even schooling environments. And
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of my journey has led me to understand leadership. I'm from the corporate point of view, but more than that, how to celebrate our humanness. So being in South Africa has allowed me to develop my business with partner over 23 years of
Mm-hmm.
looking at how we can realign racism and remove that from people's interactions. And so that got me to the point of helping people to respect each other in the way they wish to be respected. And so
Mm-hmm.
those are just some of the things about me that's important, that's part of who I am. It's part of my DNA. And it's a thing that drives me every single day to enhance the lives of people around me, from business to personal to whichever way they're looking for growth. But the main thing is to realign the injustices in this world, but using compassion as the key.
Mm-hmm. And I see that, and then I've been reading a little bit about your work, and you've been focusing a lot of your leadership work on compassionate leadership. So I really want to first of all ask you, what is compassionate leadership, and how do you see compassionate leadership fit into the world today, and especially with the reality of COVID and everything that is happening
Mm.
right now, the complexity, the uncertainty. How do you see compassionate leadership fit in all of this?
I'll say what I feel is important is if you just look at the word compassion, when
Mm-hmm.
it's behavior, it's
Mm-hmm.
something that can be learned, and it is something that we can embody through habits and through our daily actions, the way we interact with people in terms of, I think, more our energy in connection.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's more an emotional connection thing. So when we're talking about compassionate leadership, people want to know, what are the 5 tips, what are these tools, what can I do right now? And I just say, stop long enough to understand where you're at first, so that you realize that compassion for self means to be gentle with yourself right now in this moment. And so when we look at all of the different aspects of why would we need compassion, because people are
Mm-hmm.
overwhelmed, there's depression, there's anger, there's sadness, there's fear. As you mentioned that rightly so, with lockdown and COVID. I mean, the
Mm-hmm.
situations are so unique right now that people are not understanding how to cope. So instead of giving you these amazing tidbits of what the compassionate leader is, I'll tell you what compassionate leadership should embody. It's a person who is able to respect somebody in the way they wish to be respected. The person who makes someone feel honored, valued, and respected as a human being, rather than based on their color, their culture, their diversity, their language, their gender, their age, their sexual orientation, their religion. What we're doing is, a compassionate leader of influence is somebody who's able to make a human being feel seen and feel valuable in that moment. So it's no fancy things. I'm not going
Mm-hmm.
to give you 5 steps of this is what compassionate leaders should do, but I do have the value of compassion written that gives you
Mm-hmm.
all of the do's, the don'ts, it gives you characteristics, gives you steps to follow to enhance your journey of embodying compassion into your environment. But I realized that the first thing is, don't overthink it. Compassion is going to be in the simplicity of the way you connect with people meaningfully in that moment, by adjusting your tone, the kindness in your words, and the way you make them feel as if they can get over their obstacles, because you're inspiring them, encouraging them right there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that's very important, because we so used to have those rules, like you said, five
Mm,
rules for this, five. So people are really expecting to be directed, but then from what I understand, understand that what you just said is about, going inside actually, and then
Mm,
getting it out, and then helping others, and not wait for those rules that will never come. And that's really what humanity is all about. And that's another aspect of what you do, is you talk a lot about celebrating humanity. And same again, I mean, with what's going on right now, can we really celebrate humanity? Because it's going all over the place. And people, like I said, people are lost, they don't know where to go, it's ambiguous. There are some people who believe certain things, some other people are not really, with the mainstream. So how do we balance all of that? And you know and with the already the injustice that actually exists, and on top of that, what do you think individuals can do to change that and add value to others, and get this integration that we really need now,
mm.
at this difficult time?
Well, see, oh, that's a very, very deep question because there's so many layers in what you've just said. So,
Hmm.
celebrating our humanity, we're looking at how we can cope. What's coming
Hmm.
out for me right now is coping mechanisms.
Hmm.
It's about social media having engaged with people on one level, not all levels.
Hmm.
And so, for me, and that is causing a lot of injustice as well. And
Hmm.
if you look at what rules and regulations have caused right now, and it is an injustice in a very different way. So
Hmm.
without going, I'm against and for, let's stop long enough and use common sense.
Hmm.
What is your reality right now? Not the
Hmm.
world, your reality right now. Your reality is that in your home you've got a family that needs you. You've got people battling with mental health right now. You have a spike in depression and frustration. There's realities right there. There are marriages falling apart because people don't know how to communicate with each other. The education system has gone down because people did not have any processes or systems in place for should anything happen and should there be a crisis. And if you think about it, from crisis comes opportunity.
Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
if I had to change all of this around and say, stop following blindly, will be my first thing. Stop
Hmm.
following everybody else and look at your current reality. And when you can do that, you block out the noise. You block out the noise of social media. You block out the noise of people trying to push you into agreeing with their point of view. And then when you look at the next part of why block out the noise, because only when you block out the noise can you have deep introspection. And
Hmm.
when you go into quiet contemplation for yourself, you find that your brain starts to resonate at a different level. Your spirit, your mind, your body all starts to calm down and goes into a gentle state of understanding reality from your
Hmm.
point of view, not everybody else. And so when we get to that point, we're then starting to encourage solution focused areas that encourage that entices our mind to think out the box. Because
Hmm.
when we're overwhelmed by things around us, we only think of the problem, we only think of it as challenges. We don't see it as an opportunity, we don't see it as solution. And so then switch off the news, stop reading
Hmm.
newspapers, and stop getting onto social media platforms that keeps engaging you in a negative way, which means that if you're going to celebrate your humanness and celebrate your humanity, you cannot do that by allowing outside forces to destroy it. You cannot allow other people to influence you in the wrong way,
Hmm.
because otherwise there's no longer self leadership. That means you are just led. You are no longer leading yourself, you're allowing yourself to be led. And when you allow yourself to be led, you will follow whatever the strongest person will say to you. That is why we've got racism. That is why gender based violence is so huge. This is why you've got corrupt people still in leadership. This is why entire governments are failing. That is why our economies are crashing, because we are listening to the loudest people. And I'm saying that your voice should resonate higher and louder than all the noise around you. And the only way you can hear the loudness of your voice is by going quiet. And there's something that I actually was contemplating for the last 2 nights. It's something that really hit me as a thought. We as a people need to step down in order to step up. We
I
need to
like that.
step down before we can step up. And so as I thought about the sentence of why it was intriguing me and why it was bothering me, I started to dissect it into what must we step down from? Step down from listening to other people, step down from negativity, step down from injustice, step down from rudeness, step down from sarcasm, from sexual jokes, from innuendos, from racist comments, from belittling other people, from bullying other people, step down from hurting others, step down from abuse, step down from being abusive, step down from allowing yourself to be abused. And when you can step down from all of those things, and those are actions, those are other people's words and behaviors, if you can step down from all of that, then you can step up into the greatness that you deserve. You can step up into the best form of you. But if you don't know what you need to step down from, what are you stepping up to? How will you know what to entice into your life? How will you know what programs you need, who you need encouragement from? How will you then separate all the naysayers and the negative people and negative news from the good people, the people who are already prospering, the people who are still growing? There is money flowing through this economy. There's money flowing through this world. How will you step into that environment? You see, you got to step up to be able to engage at that level. But you can never do that unless you step down from what is limiting your beliefs. So step down in order to step up.
Step down before you can step up. And I like that because, like you said, crisis, are opportunities. And we always, and a majority of us, when we look at crisis, there's panic, we think about the
Mm,
worst, we really put ourselves into, we put our negative mindset, in front. And yet crises are there to create opportunities. If we
yes.
really look at it that way, then we can we can go forward, and we can
Hmm.
step up, like you said, and go to the next level of our greatness. But I think to be able to do that, there's some in some way a certain development that you need to go through, because it's not coming naturally. The
No.
brain straight away goes to negativity, and
Mm,
by the time we realize, we are in a spiral, and we don't get out of it. So for yourself, as you are an entrepreneur, you know a lot about leadership. So how do you um develop yourself, develop this kind of mindset to be ready when a crisis come up? And I think as an entrepreneur, we have crisis all the time. So
mm,
how do we self develop ourselves to be able to meet those crises at the right level and be able to grow as a person? And do you have
yeah.
any tips or anything that you can share with us?
Oh, absolutely. And that's a great question as well. I love your questions. There's so many layers in it. It's intriguing. I love that. So
Mm-hmm,
I think for myself personally,
mm-hmm,
what you said triggered for me immediately mindset.
mm-hmm,
The simplicity of it is mindset, and yet the difficulty in it is mindset.
mm-hmm,
So when you look at it, and we can sit here and talk about everything and how brilliant it is. And when we say it's a change in your mindset, it is in your focus and how you intentionally create a mindset. And when you look at an abundance mentality, as an entrepreneur, you have to have an abundance mentality, but you can't just sit and wait for the universe to provide. You've
mm-hmm,
got to upskill yourself. You got to develop yourself. Personal growth, self development is an imperative. It's not a nice to have. And so
mm-hmm,
when you look at the different nuances of that, for myself personally, I do not sit and I don't sit and throw a whole lot of motivational books at myself. I don't
Mm-hmm.
sit and overwhelm my brain with TED talks and other people's motivational speeches. What I do is the hardest thing. See, that's easy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Go tell anybody. Go and read a book and go watch somebody else's talk. Okay, that's lovely. I could sit there from now till the cows come home watching all of this and reading all of
Mm-hmm.
this. But until I put all something within it into practice, nothing will change. And
Mm-hmm.
so even with people, even watching the show right now, how many people will write down notes copiously? These are so exciting. They close the book, go to have dinner, and then forget anything that happened. They'll feel inspired and intrigued, but that's where it'll
Mm-hmm.
stop. And so for me, there is a call to action when we talk about mindset. The call to action is that the second something triggers you, don't sit and just write it in. Do what I do. I contemplate. I think about it. I dissect it. I go into a quiet space, even for 5 minutes. Why did that trigger me? What's going on? What do I need to do differently? You see, in order to change your mindset, you need to have the courage to actually listen to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You see, it's easy to listen to other people. Then we can happily say to people, well, look at me, I'm so positive because I read positive books and watch other people. No, all I'm doing is I'm taking in other people's words and I'm filling my brain with other people's words. At what point do I stop long enough and I honor my words?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the whole point of saying be authentic and be true to yourself? Why encourage people to say what, this is my truth, not your truth, my truth?
Mm-hmm.
Because you will never change somebody else's mindset and help them to grow unless you kick them out of the complacency that they're stuck. You can keep reading those books, but until you take what triggered you in that book and you implement it in your life, it'll continue being hard to change your mindset.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when you look at mindset and how powerful it is, I have in this moment the ability to think that crisis is there to break me down or use it as the stepping stones out of gratitude for what I can build out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at mindset, crisis, break me down or stepping stones to grow, to find the best me,
Mm-hmm.
means that I have to change the way I take in this information and then do something about it. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that the most powerful part is action. And so for
Yes.
me personally, no, I don't sit every single day with motivational stuff. I take a few minutes of time out, contemplate things and write about it, and then ask questions and listen to people and ask them how they feel about it. And then when I'm filling my thinking, it's by challenging my thoughts, by listening carefully to how other people feel. And when I
Mm-hmm.
listen to how they feel about what triggered me, I'm then able to gauge insights into human behavior where other people are at. It helps them to grow. And so if I'm going to impact or influence anybody, it'll be in those baby moments, in small moments, not the big things, not being on TV, not the radio shows. It's those small moments because in that moment, that person may have felt some hope. They might
Mm-hmm.
have got an insight for them, or they may have gotten triggered to think differently out of the box. Then I have achieved. It's a very different way to
Fantastic.
approach it.
So very, I mean, very deep, very deep, nuggets and very deep thinking. We're gonna have a break just to get to see who we have. Obviously, Yan is here and he's been here from the beginning. So when we talked about compassion, compassion is simply connecting meaningfully in the moment. And I love this one as well. From crisis comes opportunities, opportunity. It's just so powerful. And again, you cannot allow outside forces to destroy you and your personality for if you do, you are just being, led. And that's also one of the strongest point that I got. And the step down to step up, which, we are always afraid to do, because when we see ourselves step down, there's a panic, there's fear, and we don't realize that it's part of the process. We have to go down and then step up. It gives us the opportunity to rebound. And again, talking about the mindset, intentionally create a better mindset. You can't just sit and wait for that to happen by chance. Personal development, it's an imperative. Of course, that's what it's all about. You need to take action. You need to make an effort and develop yourself so that you can go to the next level. It's not going to happen by chance. And we have Thomas. Thomas again, action. Yes, action, action, action. So we're going to have a break, and then we come back and continue this very, I really enjoyed this conversation. There's a lot of key thing that you're sharing, but we're not going to stop here. We're just going to have a break, and we'll be back and continue this conversation. And I know that Jan and Thomas are ready for that. So let's go.
The problem we all face is learning how to deal with disruption, which happens more frequently and more intensely than ever before. In addition to burnout at the individual level, these conditions have contributed to the significantly low employee engagement scores, which we've seen in recent studies around the globe.
So everyone's talking about resilience at the moment, and the danger of that is people use it in different ways or misuse it. Historically, resilience has been referred to as a reactionary response or a coping mechanism, and it's often referred to as a fixed trait that you're either born with or you're not. I'm sure you would have heard in your organisations people are described as being resilient or not resilient. However, this is not true. There's a lot of research coming out of developmental psychology and positive psychology that shows that there are multiple inputs to resilience, and all of these are developable. So those people that are described as resilient in organisations are often described for the wrong reasons. It might be those that don't show any emotion when they're under pressure. It might be those that stay on their fixed course that they've decided on. So when we label these sort of people resilient, we're actually missing the point of what is resilience. To be resilient and to keep working through change and pressure, we do need to find constructive ways of expressing our emotion. Sometimes we need to change course. Persevering or showing grit is not always the answer to being resilient. So rather than talk about whether someone is resilient or not resilient, we should talk about their current levels of resilience. Your resilience fluctuates depending on the experiences you're going through, the pressures you're under, and sometimes the pressures you put yourself under. Ironically, when we are under pressure or undergoing a lot of change, we stop investing in our personal resources that help us to be resilient. So the very things that would maintain or increase our resilience, we actually stop doing, and our resilience often decreases at the time that we need it the most. Developing resilience is actually easier than you might think. Because it is practical, there are proactive ways to develop these strategies in your everyday life. And you'll find the rewards. Also, fostering resilience in your people is going to become a demanded leadership competency. By getting involved in this program and working on your ability to cultivate resilience in the people in your team, you're going to be ahead of the game. Through learning about the different inputs into your resilience levels, you're going to be able to take control of your lives. You're going to be able to have strategies that you can easily implement into your everyday routines. There's been a lot of studies that have linked increased resilience to increased life satisfaction, work satisfaction, and work engagement. This means you're going to live a happier, healthier, more engaged life. And who wouldn't want that?
So we are back. We're ARTHIE, and we now going to talk about resilience. And resilience has always been one of the pillars of success, happiness for entrepreneurs or even for individuals around the world. So what I really want to ask you is what does resilience mean to you?
Okay, for me personally, it means the simplicity of it is it's overcoming.
Mm-hmm.
So to overcome where I'm at in that moment, based on the situation, based on who I'm with, based on what I need to interact with. whether it is a business meeting, whether it is financial in that moment, whether it is trying to recover from a loss of somebody in my personal environment. So, I mean, as they were saying in the video, that makes so much more sense. That resilience it's not a one size fits all, and it is very specific to the moment or to things that's happening. So you don't always have to have resilience. And I love that that she says that resilience is it can be seen as a negative thing if you just label people as you're always resilient. I just feel that yes, that can be a very bad label, because you think that while somebody's being resilient, all they're doing, they're not showing emotion to the point where they've created a facade. They've created a level of disengagement. And so true
Doesn't help.
resilience, yeah, exactly, unhealthy, right? So true resilience is being able to look at your situation and then to work out what do you need in terms of coping skills, what are some of the solutions. And I think one important part that we miss in resilience is the person's ability to ask for help and reach out to the support system or to the people around them, community, their tribe, because resilience is not something that you're personally stuck with, that it's only you who could do it, that you're the only one who needs to sit there. That's where people become overwhelmed. And I was talking to a CEO of a French company, and she said to me that she was researching what is the latest trending word or thing that people around the world are battling with. And she said it was resilience. And based on that, she asked me, can you give me an example of resilience from my own personal point of view or experience? And I looked at the topic from a business point of view, and I thought, well, everybody can talk about resilience as an entrepreneur, business person, in terms of going to work. What do you need? And I thought, well, here's the simplicity for me. Resilience was being able to overcome past situations or things that happened to me that could have defined where or what I became in my future. And so when I looked at the different areas of where resilience helped me, it was overcoming those and using it as a form of gratitude to know that I deserve better by by changing my perspective and thinking of them as lessons. So by looking right now, where are you right now? How many people have you lost? How many people are failing? Where do they need to change the perspective that their self-worth is not being determined by their current circumstances or situations, that they are not limited? And so to be resilient means to have the strength and the courage in this moment to step up differently by changing the perspective. Now, I'm not saying that everybody's going to overcome all the time immediately. I'm not saying that you're going to be able to do this and it's a miracle. No, it takes work. Resilience means that you persist, that you never give up, that you are thoughtful in looking for guidance from other people, that you know that you are not on this journey alone. And it's those small things that help somebody to become resilient and overcome. I mean, saying resilience is not a lonely process. Exactly. Right? And it doesn't have to be. That's a choice. And a lot of people say, well, you don't understand where I'm coming from. You're an entrepreneur. Yes, and. So that would be yes, and. What is the point? Just because I have the title of entrepreneur does not mean that I have not suffered loss, that I have not had setbacks, that I have not had situations that were so devastating I did not know what my next steps were. Just because I'm able to talk into it does not mean that I did not experience it. And so one of the things that I find that is crucial on the journey of resilience is to stop judging yourself based on other people's experiences. You see, one part of resilience and to overcome and to grow is you need to understand that you're worth it. And one of the things that I always say to people is remember in life that you too are a miracle.
Mm-hmm.
When is the last time that you actually remembered that, acknowledged that? You see, when you believe that you are a miracle, you will do everything that you can to honor that within yourself. You honor the state of your being at such a deep level that you will look after yourself, that you find coping mechanisms, that you find self-care, you find mindfulness. You look at all of the things that help you with the tools and the techniques to overcome. You believe that you're worth it. You believe that your light is worth shining. Not that you don't have it, not that you've got to
Mm-hmm.
go seek it, not that somebody's got to pull it out for you, not that you're going to keep regurgitating, I'm sure there's a light at the end of the tunnel, I can't see it. You can't see it because it's within you.
Mm-hmm.
You've been looking for it in the wrong place.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to realize and make that decision in that moment that your light is worth shining for everybody else to see, that your light is what everybody's been waiting to be guided by. So stop looking for everybody else as a lighthouse, because those are few and far between. And you're going to have to travel a long way to get to that end, to find that lighthouse. But why would you need to go searching for the light from somebody else when you're going to need to shine your own on your own path, on your own journey, to light up your own way through your words, your actions, your decisions, your choices, everything that's talking into how you step up? Everything's always been about you. The
Mm-hmm.
resilience is all about you. It's about your mindset. It's about your thoughtfulness towards yourself. It's no longer other people's problems. It's now yours as something to engage with meaningfully.
Mm-hmm.
Resilience is for you.
And that's wow, it's there's just so much, so much. It's just so powerful what you're saying. And but I think at the end of the day, it's, like you said, it's about it's about you yourself. Everything that you challenge with, it starts with yourself. Go inside, acknowledge, that you have this greatness. You can, shine your light, like you say, recognize that you are a miracle, and really build on that to build your resilience and reach out after that. But start the process with yourself, and that's a key one that people need to understand. Which bring me to the next, to the next question about, diversity, because, as we know, this diversity, gender, equity is there for us. And one of the key thing that, I've always what I always tell people, and that to women, is that, it all starts with us. And, this message is just a continuity of what you're saying. But for you, what do you think is the key? It's the key to manage that, because it's such a, a key issue right now. Not on diversity in every single sense. I mean, there's gender, race, sexuality, all kind of diversity, and yet, we still see those tension. So what do you think about it, and what do you think is key to manage it properly?
Oh, see? Okay, this is awesome subject to delve into. And the reason being is that ah, if you remove the word diversity, when you dissect it, the word diversity is to divide. And when we started off with the word divide, we compartmentalized people, we compartmentalized ourselves. What we did in accepting the word diversity is that we realized and we accepted the belief systems of other people. We bought into the policies, the procedures, the rules, and everything that our governments put into place to separate and divide people. I mean, this is the only reason why we've got diversity and inclusion programs right now. That's the
Mm-hmm.
simplicity of it, is because they divided. So they divided us, everybody in the world. They divided us so beautifully, so effectively, that is so easy to manipulate people one against the other, because if we actually stepped up as human beings and used our common sense, we realize that there's a human being looking for a human experience on an earth that is not belonging to anybody. The earth does not belong to anybody. It is it is free. You should not be limited to who you can interact with and how you can love and engage with people. Nobody has the right to dissect you into nothingness because of the words that's attached to diversity. We have got, the only reason you've got gender-based violence and you've got gender issues right now, and you've got men and women hurting each other, is because they successfully separated people. We had men who had a hierarchy, and that's a reality. No matter what people can say, that's been a reality. The women were not allowed different access to opportunities. Let's keep it in the simplicity of that. In that separation, people forgot that there was wisdom, knowledge, and experience sitting there waiting to be brought out. And so that craving, that need to feel seen from the female perspective, the feeling that not worth it. I've got so much to add value, but I'm not given the chance to. It's when people's choices and decisions are taken away from them that created that divide that allowed people to rule more effectively. Because all they've got to do is say very simply, did you know that there's a higher percentage of men in the workplace who are earning more than women in the same environment? Immediately, you've got people who blow up. You get people who go into anger and frustration and blame games. At no point do they stop to have courageous conversations of what can we do to adjust the situation, not change it. What can we do to adjust the situation so that everybody feels included? Now, it's no longer a man versus woman. It's no longer an inequality. Now we're saying there's the challenge. What will we do about it? And you see, the word change scares people. And so when I talk to people, I say, I'm not asking you to change who you are. I'm saying that I'm going to give you the tools to communicate effectively with anybody, anywhere, anytime, without the prejudices, without the unconscious biases, without the pre-programming that you've got, without the belief systems that you're holding strongly within yourself, that you're projecting on other people. And so when I talk into that, I'm saying that you have the ability to adjust in this moment for the human being who's in front of you, so that you honor who they are. And so when you can do that, you strip away all of the limiting beliefs and the facades and all of these tints that you enjoyed having, that prevented you from stepping up, because it was lovely to stay complacent and blame other people. I can't prosper because I'm a man. I can't have opportunity because I'm a woman. Okay, well, get over yourself. Because if you can get over that sentence long enough, you can say it's because I'm a man, it's because I'm a woman. I can do this because I have a brain. I'm able to think. I can read. If I can't read, I can learn. If I can learn, then I can adjust. If I can adjust, I have choice and I can make decisions that allows me to grow. Now who's stopping me? I can't blame anybody else. Now, diversity and inclusion is all about me and what am I going to do differently to realign the injustices in this world. And so when you look at All Lives Matter and Black Lives Matter, I had somebody actually turn me down because I refused to put everybody in the same box and say, you must like each other. And so here's where I come from with that. When in my diversity and inclusion training, I always say to people, give yourself full permission that you do not have to like every person you interact with. However, your ability to show respect and be respectful is a direct reflection on your character and dignity as a human being.
Fantastic.
And so when you look at it from that point of view, every person matters, whether it's a man or a woman, whether it's a young person or old person. regardless of the generational gap and all of the titles we chuck onto people. We can honor people regardless of their sexual orientations, because what a person does in the bedroom has got nothing to do with you.
Mm-hmm.
You are dealing with a human being who is there to do a job to the best of their ability. And if they are battling, if they are not coping, what are you doing to help them to succeed? Or did you use their sexual orientation as the excuse for why your religious beliefs, your cultural beliefs, your tradition says they're not worth it or not worthy? Then you are judgmental right there. When you look at a man or a woman and you say, you're not worth it because your people took away my opportunities, no, get over yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You are not stepping up to opportunities that are available around the world globally. You're not limited to that one section. And if you've got people who are bullying you, men and women bully each other, by the way. Gender
Mm-hmm.
based violence is not limited to women, it is
Mm-hmm.
higher, with women being on the receiving end of it, but it's not limited. It's men are being abused as well. And so when we look at it from another perspective, I always say to people, how do you interact with diversity and inclusion on a different point of view? How do you celebrate humanness? Understand a simple sentence that not all men are abusers and not all women are abused.
Mm-hmm.
And so if that can sink into your head, the way you interact with people will change your perspective, that you can now engage with people and say, how can we as a collective who've not experienced this abuse, how can we together now take on the bullies, now take on the abusers, now take on the injustices in the work environment? How can we step up for the people who don't have a voice in the work environment, for the managers that bully and intimidate people, for the colleagues that will take credit for what you do, for the people who use their gender as an excuse, for the women who are abusive towards other women? When we talk
Mm-hmm.
about women empowerment, women need to be stepping up for other women, not bringing them down. You see, men may have begun that conversation, women are successfully continuing it.
Mm-hmm.
So who's taking away opportunity from who? And when you look at diversity and inclusion, stop using the divisive words that you're programmed to believe. It's a man, woman, gender, age, religion, culture. There's intelligences. I would put in common sense as a
Mm-hmm.
diversity, because some people have it and the majority of them don't. And so if you, if you look at you having to drag people along in this world and you think it was common sense would have saved you in that situation, not the color of your skin, it may have been because you were not thinking. The
Mm-hmm.
ability to step up in terms of communication, your personality, your learning style, your intelligences, your gifts, your talents, your ability to guide and support people. It is your servant leadership. Those are all diversities that people don't talk about. So, in
Mm-hmm.
order to address celebrating humanity, we need to understand that the human experience is a lot more deeper than the words we dumbed ourselves to lock into. So,
Mm-hmm.
what are you going to do to unlock within yourself the possibilities of the human being you interact with, that they deserve more of you, more compassion, more understanding, more coping skills, more guidance, more thoughtfulness? Because you realize that resilience is not something that you hold on to, it's something that you share, and that
Mm-hmm.
everybody deserves it.
Whoa, I can't even, start to summarize all of this. I'm gonna go to the comment, the comment box, and so obviously, Jan is still here. Nobody has a right to degrade into nothingness. So, and then those need for courageous conversation that we always need to have, because, and that's what people run away from, those courageous conversation. And that's why we are in this world is in these states. It's that people run away, and
Mm,
they hide into their own world, they hide into their own prejudices, and they don't want to open up and have those discussions that are actually very difficult, but at the end are going to bring us together. They just run away from all of this. And Jan, again, we must let go of our prejudice, are just the human beings in front of us, with respect, and that's important. And Thomas, perhaps we need training in respect, and more than diversity. There's
exactly.
some something needs to change, definitely. Something needs to change in the education system or in the way parents are raising their children. There's a need for change. And like you said, when people hear change, they're scared and they're really,
Yeah.
they don't move. They stay in their comfort zone and they
Mm,
protect that. So it's a very challenging way to bring to help them to open up and try to change and go and forget about this division, like you said, that it's been created where
mm,
they put people in boxes, and then we are comfortable in those boxes. We don't want to move because it's going to mean that we will be uncomfortable, but we don't look forward and realizing that it's actually going to be the best for us, but we just stay
mm.
there because we are comfortable. So let's have another break, and we're gonna continue in this spirit and talk after the break about the glass ceiling, which is again another issue, a very very interesting issue, and I really want to have your point of view on that. But let's
Mm.
just watch the video first. So we are back. Glass ceiling, a very hot topic, especially for us women. So, what are your thoughts? I'm really, eager to listen to your thought on that.
Oh, okay, but so here's the thing. I am very unfiltered. So
Mhm,
I will say things as I feel it needs to be said. And when I look at all of these stats, that is not a reality for a lot of people. There are women that are developing themselves, and we're from Africa.
mhm,
So when they do the stories of there's only one woman of color on a board out of 25 women in leadership, come to South Africa. Come and see how people are realigning their conversations differently. Yes, you can go according to stats, and stats will always tell you all the depressing stuff, but they'll never tell you reality. You come to
mhm,
our country, they'll tell you that racism is so massive, and when you come to this country, you'll see how people interact and love and care for each other differently. When you look at, and I work with boards of directors, management teams in Fortune 500 companies. And my reality is watching the development, looking at the leadership programs that's available for women. A part of the Rising Stars is all about uplifting women, and it is women from all cultures, all backgrounds, all religions, being given access to opportunities by many companies in this country. So I'm not going to talk on behalf of the globe,
mhm,
but I'll
mhm,
talk into the reality of what I'm experiencing. Yes, there is a discrepancy. If you've had reality, if you had people having gone through, I've had opportunity in so many different ways for hundreds of years, to now realign that and say now only one group needs it and deserves it. Obviously, there's going to be systems that need to be put in place. Obviously, there needs to be growth in different ways. And here's common sense for me.
Mm-hmm.
Where we can change the dialogue is to get men and women to interact with each other differently. And I feel, and this is why I took this to another level,
Mm-hmm.
understand that there is a massive disparity. What I'm looking at is what will we do and what solution will we come to, what will it come to the table with? So as much as we keep looking at stats, what's our reality? When
Mm-hmm.
you look personally at your show, your greatness show,
Mm-hmm.
in your first video, you had men and women. You did not limit yourself. You opened yourself up to opportunity for everybody to grow from different knowledge, wisdom, skills, and expertise. When you
Mm-hmm.
spoke into the greatness hour, it was saying that we want to educate people, build awareness, and we want to help them to grow. At
Mm-hmm.
every point, you said that we want to help people succeed. At no
Mm-hmm.
point did you say only women or only men.
No.
And so here's the thing. In order for us to change the conversation on how we are going to realign this, is you don't just go and shove women into the boardroom and then feel proud of yourself that you've achieved numbers. Now I'm
Mm-hmm.
working with affirmative action and employment equity. The most devastating thing you could do is throw people into an environment where they do not have the skill or the tool
Mm-hmm.
to succeed. So my thinking right now, and I'm working with quite a number of companies on this, what are you putting into place to be more supportive in the way that you guide their success?
Mm-hmm.
And now think about it from a community based point of view, not individualistic. You see, as an individual, as a company running on Western principles of business, we will show our stats and what we achieved. But here's the reality. Welcome to African principles of leadership. We will
Mm-hmm.
be inclusive. We will collaborate and we will partner with women
Mm-hmm.
alongside men, that they both grow together and may the best person enjoy that position to take other people to their levels of success. You see, once you get to that point of leadership, are you going to lead them because you have got a thinking that is also it's diluted by all
Mm-hmm.
of your pains and sufferings of how you had to get to that position? I'm dealing with an executive director of a multi-billion corporation. And she is not the best, good, and kind person I would want to be in a room with or interact with. And yet she's an executive director. She
Mm-hmm.
believes that women should not have opportunity because she had to work hard for it, that she was on the receiving end of nastiness. So now why project it on everybody else?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you look at it, where do we as women take responsibility for our own growth and our own personal development to step up?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you look at the glass ceiling effect from my point of view, I believe that ladies and gentlemen uniting and collaborating for each other's success is going to be the key in the solution, where there's an exchange of knowledge and wisdom and open conversations. It'll be hard conversations sometimes, it'll be courageous conversations other times. But more than that, it's going to be healing conversations. You
Mm-hmm.
see, you've got to be building trust within an organization to say that I believe and I trust that you have got the ability and you've got the skills and you've got the self confidence to take on the rest of the workforce. I believe that you've stepped up enough to show that you're a leader of influence and that where you're going to take our people is worth listening to and we want to follow you. And so when you think about it from that point of view, whether you're a man or a woman, where do you stand on this? And when I say
Mm-hmm.
the glass ceiling, from my point of view, I say it very simply. Glass is see-through, is transparent, and can be shattered. So what limiting belief are you sitting with that's preventing you from understanding that you were always the one holding you back? Not your circumstances and the situations around you, because they will always be there. Where did you step up so that you shine so brightly with your skills and experience that you will be headhunted by some other company, that you will be given the opportunity to shine somewhere else? Where did you have the courage as an individual to say that I have a voice and I needed to be heard? So what did you do differently to upskill yourself in that way? And so when you look at Ladies and Gentlemen Uniting, it is a collaboration that bypasses all of these other conversations that people refuse to have. It's when men share their experiences and they have a vested interest in helping women succeed. And women stop belittling themselves and each other and embrace and encourage the voice and the thoughtfulness of the men around them so that they know that they too are worth it.
And that's really, I really like what you're saying, because I actually experience it myself. I've worked in the oil and gas industry. I went into this industry. I was almost the only black woman, and then when I went into it, I went with this very negative mindset where, everything that was happening to me, it's because I'm black, it's because I'm a woman. And then I got stuck, and I just, had this shift and started to realize that, I have to take control. I have to really work with what's is there. I have the skills. So why be so negative? And when I started to change, the narrative in my head and the mindset, things started to take off. And I had some fantastic men, coaching me, mentoring me. It's just this change of mindset. As soon as you go into something as a victim, you're dead already. So it's really important that women understand that this glass ceiling is really the way we see it ourselves. If we see it as, if we see it, that's it. We're gonna be limited. If we don't see it, then we have hope to go as far as we can go, unless we limit ourselves. And that's very important to say that, because we can't just point the fingers to men or to another woman. Or no, we really have to take responsibility. And I like the question that you were asking, is that when do we as women take responsibility for our own growth and our own development? Because a lot of women actually fall short because of lack of self-esteem. And it is buried into the gender, whatever they call it. So it's really about self-esteem, being really, believing in ourselves, believing in our skills, believing in our expertise, and taking action and being proactive instead of waiting for anybody to select us to go to the next level. And yet, nobody's going to do it for us. So that's a very important discussion. And I like, that, we understand that women, and in everything, not just women, we always, it starts with us. It starts with the mindset that we have. It starts with the action, that the decisions and the action that we are taking. And we can't blame somebody else for the shortcoming, because then it's just not realistic, and nothing really happened. So just to the last question that I really wanted to ask you is about, because you have I've read that you said that life is about the 3 E's. So can you explain to us this philosophy and how you came up with that?
Oh, this was another one of those, the 3 E's. So if we've got people writing it down, the 3 E's for me is embracing the past. So embrace, evaluate, and evolve. So embrace your past, evaluate what you need in your current present state, and then evolve into the future you deserve. And that's the simplicity of it for me. Because in order to grow from where you're at to where you deserve to be, you need to first embrace your past using gratitude, acknowledgement that things did happen to you. It was not your fault. There are things that you did in your past that maybe you're sitting there with guilt and frustration and sadness. Let it go. Embrace it, and then look at the lesson that it gave to you. And see, in those moments of gratitude, when we change the perspective and look at the lesson, why did my relationship break up? Where did I go wrong? What part of that can I take responsibility for or do something differently about it? And when we start to question ourselves in that manner, we then are able to embrace our past as the lessons we deserve right now. And then we evaluate currently, right now in my present, what do I need to be able to upskill myself? Where do I need to develop? Is it emotional intelligence? Is it conflict resolution? Is it anger management? Is it thoughtfulness? Is it mindfulness? Is it understanding how to respect people better? Where do I need to develop myself in terms of self leadership? And so when we look at right now, currently, based on my past, yes, okay, I got angry and I was resentful to people. What do I need to do now? I need to work on forgiveness. I need to work on communicating more effectively. I need to work on how I react versus respond. That means now my communication is now my responsibility. And when we get to that point, we then are able to evolve into a vision of the future that we deserve based on a lifestyle rather than a life. And so when we're looking at evolving, it's no longer, I like this, I want a different life. But what does it look like to you? How will you lead that life with purpose? How will you create a life of meaning? Something that allows you to impact people in such a way that becomes a lifestyle of being of service to others. So you're no longer a people pleaser. You're no longer the servant leadership, the servant leader that just keeps giving and giving selflessly until you sacrifice who you are. You become resentful. You then become a person who is of service to other people. And that comes with boundaries. It comes with respect. It comes with integrity. It comes with resonating at a very high value system that allows you to encourage and engage differently and meaningfully. So that's my 3 E's.
Fantastic. So I hope the audience got, the 3 E's, because it covers the whole thing. So the past, the present, and then how you want to relate in the future. And that's quite a powerful concept that I hope people are gonna start to use, or if they really want more information, connect with you. So we're gonna go to the again to the comment box, and it's all Yan now. I think Thomas left. So women must stop belittling themselves. Yes, that's true. And other women, as everyone has potential, everyone has opportunity. You must encourage other regardless of gender, race, culture, and religion. That's definitely the case. And then you were talking about the glass ceiling, and then are you holding yourself back, by having this excuse of your glass ceiling? And then the 3 E's that you explain, and embrace your past, evaluate where you are at, and evolve positively and purposely into the future. So we gotta have publicity break, but we will be back for the last question, and that's the best question that always ask my guest, and I'm always delighted by the answers that they give me. So don't go anywhere. We will be back in a few minutes. So we are back. We are back with ARTHIE, and the question is for you to tell me, what do you really want to contribute to the world? You've done so much. What else do you want to contribute? And what is the legacy that you want to leave?
Oh, now that's an exquisite question. I believe in living a legacy right now. I will not leave a legacy. I will live it right now as I am in my everyday life. My thing that I want to leave with the world is for people to honor, respect, and value each other as human beings. And when I want them to see who they are and make them feel seen for the gift that they are on this earth. I want to, as a human being, continue my journey of sharing compassion, because that is something that I had to learn for myself. It was the one thing missing in my life, and I've used that as my stepping stone to continue to grow, to understand how compassion can change this world, remove the angers and the prejudice and the yuckiness in this world. So I am going to impact injustice through using compassion and through getting people to love each other just because they love each other as human beings. Nothing more, nothing less. And so when we look at the journey I'm on right now, it's fun and it's exciting because it is something that we can see as tangible results right now. Whatever
Mhm.
I do is to make sure that every single person I interact with must feel as if it was worth their while to be in my presence for that moment. And that when they walk away from me, they must feel as if they can now look within themselves and understand that there is a light that is burning that can now grow. And if that
Mhm.
is what I can do in these moments, then I will be living a legacy, one that
Mhm.
demands excellence and the best of every human being I interact with.
Fantastic and powerful legacy, and I really like the fact that you said, why leave a legacy when you can leave your legacy right now? And that's what you do. You leave your legacy right now, and it's a beautiful legacy. Use the compassion to really make
Mm,
sure that people understand, that they have this
mm,
light and they can shine this light to others and have compassion, build on the compassion
mm,
to grow the humanity, to, bringing people together. That's just
yeah.
amazing. It has been a wonderful conversation. I don't even know what to say. I'm going to go and watch it again because there's just so much, to learn from this episode. I need to step back and watch it myself so that I can get, all the insight that you've shared and get to apply it myself. And that's what I'm asking the audience, whoever is watching now, whoever is going to watch the replay, to really make sure that, they get all those concepts that you've shared, and really use them for their in their own life, to get, to understand what is their greatness and get to use this greatness to make the world a better place, and eventually go to the next level of the greatness, because it never stops. They always have the opportunity to grow. They always have the opportunity to go to the next level and shine their light, to the world, as you said beautifully. So before we leave, how can people, get in contact with you or connect with you if they want to continue this conversation?
Okay, so our websites are kileadership.com and
Mm-hmm,
then arthiemoore.com. And I think would be a beautiful gift for anybody who's on here would love to know more about the value of compassion. We've put it up
mm-hmm,
on the website as a free download that people can
mm-hmm,
then use for themselves personally as a gift. And then you would have seen Jan Roberts is on was connecting there, and he's my incredible other half and partner. And
mm-hmm,
if you connect with him as well, there's so much you can learn from him because he's one of the greatest gifts to this world as well. And
mm-hmm.
so it's just That's how you can connect with us. Jan's already put up
That is already
the
put out everything,
websites.
the website, and there's also your own website. So he's supporting you from, the
He's
backstage, and
extremely,
that's just beautiful to see.
he's
And I
stunning.
follow you too. It's just amazing to see what you all, are giving to the world and living, according to what you're preaching. And that's very important nowadays to have people who do that, because it's not just about, talking about it, it's about
Mm,
living it as well, and that's the most important thing. So thank you so much, Hafiz, for
thank you.
your time, your
You're
wisdom,
most
and
welcome.
everything that you've shared today is just, it's a diamond episode, and I really enjoyed this conversation. And like I said, I'm gonna watch the replay myself to be able to learn even more, and start to apply some of the, the tips and principle and concept that you've shared today. And uh, and Jan, again, the value of compassion can be downloaded for free on Archie website, and I'm gonna rush to it after we finish. And so thank you for the free gift. And anyone listening, please go and really go to the and thank you, Jan. Yeah, thank you
Thank
for
you,
being
Jan.
here and
Exactly.
participating. It's been amazing to have your insight and to have your encouragement, because that's all we need. We all need encouragement at some point, and it has
Yes,
been beautiful to have that from you. So thank you so much.
exactly.
I wish you to have, to enjoy the rest of your day, and obviously we stay connected, and I'm gonna watch this episode definitely. So thank you, everyone,
Awesome.
and thanks for
Thank
tuning
you.
in. And thanks a lot. It's
Thank
been it's
you.
been
Thank you.
amazing. It's been fire for me. So I love it. So see you for another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour. On Thursday, we're going to Dubai. So it's going to be, again, another interesting conversation with an amazing lady. It's going to share as well inspiration and knowledge with us. So until, we get to Thursday, bye bye, everybody, and
Okay. Bye bye.
enjoy uh, the rest of the day. Bye.
Bye bye.